Welcome, dart players, one and all. Today on Straight to the Point, we are going to be talking about dartitis. For those of you who don't know, when I was 19, I had dartitis myself. It took me about a year of working with it to try and get rid of it, but by the time I'd beaten it, due to injury in my right arm, it just became inevitable that I couldn't play the game. After 15 darts, my arm really hurts, which is why I switched to left, and it's the best thing I ever did. So I'm going to teach you how to play with your left hand as well in another video, but this is about beating dartitis. So first thing to remember is that dartitis is the psychological inability to release the dart. There are two parts to dartitis. There's the pullback, where you get stuck right back here, like Eric Bristow had, and another is on the release of the dart. So some players will pull the dart back absolutely fine, and then get stuck here right on the point of release. I personally had it on both stages. So what I find works best is to put your arm right at the point of release and aim the dart there. Pull the dart back as far as you can without feeling that tension, so you're not getting stuck. And focus on just releasing the dart with the tips of the fingers. You're holding the dart right on the tips of the fingers and just letting it go. Do not worry about where the darts are going. Now you will find the darts do land very short because of the lack of power in the throw doing this, but it's a good start. It's important not to worry about where the dart is going. This is all about getting your throw. Getting that dart off your fingers and you're following through. So I also like to set a mirror up or a camera facing me so I can just look at myself when I throw the dart as well. That can be easier as well than looking at the dartboard. It's all about getting the dart off your fingers. Hold the dart with the very tips of your fingers so you're having very little movement to get the dart off your hand. When you start doing this, it's normal for the dart to drop really short on the dartboard just because there's no power. But as we improve, we can start to do this. Feathering the dart. Once we've mastered stage 1, then we can start to feather the dart, keeping the dart in our comfort zone where we're not having a problem with dartitis. And just slowly try and increase power. You can also do this as well, which is where you keep the dart back. But if your problem is with dartitis is right at the back part of your throw, this might not be for you. However, when we do start doing this, we should start now and again to start seeing some sort of reward on the dartboard. And we can slowly start bringing our aim back into it. But again, don't focus too much on where they're going. It's all about how they're going with dartitis. Speaking to a lot of people who have had dartitis in the past, I know a lot of different people have come up with similar yet seemingly strange techniques to get rid of it. One of which was to throw a ball at the dartboard. It's a bouncy ball. Let it bounce back and catch it, just to get this movement going. I know somebody else who used to switch all the lights off, not just the dartboard, but the entire room was black, and then he would use a glow-in-the-dark tape for the hockey, just so he knew where to stand to make sure he wasn't hitting the wall, he was hitting the dartboard. Somebody else I know that used to throw a brick. Apparently Phil Taylor did that, but I can't find anything online, and there's so much rubbish out there from like the early 2000s saying Phil Taylor did this, Phil Taylor did that. But it's worth trying these things. You know, they may say mad, and they probably won't work, but there might just be that one occasion where it does work, and it could be you. Why not try it? The most frustrating thing about dartitis is that with these techniques, you're not really getting rid of it. You're learning to play with it almost. You can always tell really when someone's had dartitis. Now, just to be clear, dartitis isn't just the inability to let the dart go. It can start as a snatch, the inability to throw the dart clearly, in which you've got a lovely clear throw, and then one day you start trying a little bit too hard and you start finding that you're throwing the dart but you're not getting to the end of your throw. It doesn't feel clear when you throw the dart. It's the starting point of dartitis, and when you start getting that, you try to force it. That makes it worse, and before you know it, your muscles start to contract and you can't go through clearly with the dart. So to stop that happening, number one rule: if you are finding that you are pulling the dart a lot or snatching the dart a lot, take a break. It's the only way to do it. Unless you're sound up here, you will not be sound on that board. One of the cruelest things with dartitis is that even when you've learned to release the dart and throw it nice and clearly, you still can't quite get to the end of your throw quite often. And it's something you forget the feeling of. You just know it's not right. And the weird thing is, if you pick the dart up with your other arm and throw it, even if it goes completely where you're not looking, you will get that feeling of, oh, my arm went straight through. It's bizarre. It's a horrible, horrible thing to have to deal with dartitis, and it's never nice watching someone in a pub or a club with dartitis, especially not on TV. I remember when I first started to battle it, I had a really big game, and I went down to the club and I played a player that had never beaten me, should never beat me, and could never beat me in my mind. And I still beat him on the scoring, despite really struggling to let the darts go. And then when it came to seeing the game off, I couldn't let the dart go at all. There's about 50 people in that room, all laughing at me. It really wasn't nice. It stuck with me for a long time, that did. But I switched hands, and I'm better than every single player in that room. And there's not one player in that room worth beating that I haven't stuffed since. So, it is where it is. Laugh all you want. If you're determined to get rid of it, you will. But if you do not want to learn to play with dartitis, which I can understand, I fully relate to it, the best thing to do is to switch hands. It sounds impossible, it will take a very long time, but it can be done. Darts isn't the most demanding sport for hand-eye coordination. That's why we see a lot of players without natural ability doing really well in it. I'm going to show you in an upcoming video how I managed to switch hands, because I genuinely think that is the best way to get over it. And once you've had dartitis once, if you can reflect on why you've had dartitis, what brought you to that state, I'm convinced you'll never get it again. I will never get dartitis again. I know what I did wrong, and I'll never do it again. Or at least I hope, because I'm running out of arms. But no, seriously, I won't get dartitis again. I know I won't. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. That's about as helpful as I can be on this subject. It is literally an impossible subject to cover because there's no definite answer. But these are the tips I found best when trying to get that dart off your hands. It's what worked for me, and it's worked for a lot of other people that have had dartitis that I've shared it with. So anyway, that's it for me. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Straight to the Point. And as always, I really hope this helps your game.